doing flip-flops, Lord, and I know that you're probably not real happy. Father, I pray that you would give ADF everything that they need to do the work that they have to do, Lord. I know that you said that it wasn't going to get better, it was going to get worse. But, Father, we just pray that you would create a revival and that you would change people's hearts. We've drifted a long way away. We lift this up to you in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Their feedback form is on page 29. Take a minute, fill it out. Sean? I had the pleasure of going out to Giving Children Hope and seeing their facility and getting the tour and seeing what Sean and Drew have done over the last couple of years and taking something that was really struggling and making it into something that is flourishing and flourishing for the kingdom. So I'm really excited to introduce Sean to you. Their operations in Buena Park. It's local, and it is a very cool deal. Come on up, Sean. Tell us about Giving Children Hope.
Good morning, everybody. As you mentioned, I'm Sean Lawrence. I'm the Executive Director at Giving Children Hope, and I'm grateful to be with you guys this morning. And ironically, I feel like though it's my first time here, I should begin with a thank you to the Barnabas Group. As Jim mentioned, about 3.5 years ago, I walked into my office, typical Monday morning. My normal job is the International Project Manager for Giving Children Hope. And I walked in, and a couple of board members there, and they told me I was the new Executive Director. Due to some unforeseen circumstances, I would be the new executive director. So in this new unfamiliar role of ED, the first thing I did was to reach out to just the wisest people I knew. And this was business people, this was spiritual giants, this was other nonprofit leaders. And one of these people that I reached out to was Barnabas member Todd Williams. Todd had been a longtime partner of ours, and over the following months, Todd took my calls, he took me out to lunch, he paid, as he helped me navigate this new unfamiliar role. Todd also organized a one-day staff retreat. He brought in a facilitator and got all the staff unified and going in the same direction under my leadership. And at the end of the year, Todd even provided the funds for a Christmas staff party and for gift cards for all of the staff. While the practical benefits of the organization of Todd's time, treasure, and talent is obvious, the more powerful message to me was that Todd, a respected businessman, believed in our abilities, which empowered and prepared us for what would be a long and challenging year ahead. Thanks, Todd. Today, Giving Children Hope is in its 23rd year providing wellness for vulnerable children and families. Since our inception in 1993, when our founder adopted a child in Eastern Europe and saw these horrible conditions in the hospitals and shipped over our first container of donated medical resources, we have grown to become one of the largest nonprofits in Orange County. Last year alone, we sent out over $32 million worth of donated product to our partners around the world and across the street. Giving Children Hope is a faith-based organization providing sustainable hope through wellness programs and disaster response. We do this through the gathering and giving of medical resources, basic needs, and nutritional food. Our warehouse in Buena Park is a resource hub for other nonprofits and churches. Giving Children Hope provides these resources to help our partners fulfill their mission. We are the only Orange County-based relief agency that has the capacity to react in a large-scale response to major natural disasters. Whether it be an earthquake in Nepal, Superstorm Sandy, a tsunami in Japan, or Hurricane New Orleans, Giving Children Hope is there. How do we do this? We do this first by procuring donations of excess equipment from a plethora of suppliers both locally and nationally. Then we offer these products to our nonprofit partners, churches, and individuals who are serving the poor around the world. The first product that we offer is medical resources. Whether it be a backpack full of bandages and a bottle of aspirin for a short-term mission trip, or a 40-foot shipping container full of medical equipment and supplies to furnish a hospital in a developing country, Giving Children Hope can provide what our partners need to help fulfill this mission. Just this week, we sent out a container of medical equipment from Malawi to equip the only cardiologist in the country. She's an American from Loma Linda. With this equipment, she'll be able to serve and provide health care that isn't available currently in this country. Our second basic resource is basic need items. To you and me, these items may just be, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. Another recent medical project has been a response to the Ebola outbreak. In coordination with partners such as Container of Hope, we were able to deliver 7 containers full of relief items to Sierra Leone and to Liberia. These pallets of isolation gowns, gloves, and cleaning supplies sent to the front lines of this outbreak allowed our medical partners on the ground to fulfill their mission of serving those affected with Ebola while minimizing the risk to them. Our second resource that we provide Giving Children Hope to our partners is basic need items. To you and me, these items may just be practical products that we use and take for granted every day. But to those in poverty, these items such as mattresses, hygiene products, strollers, and toys are often luxury items that many families struggling to survive cannot afford. Our network of nonprofit and church partners provide these items every week to families in crisis, as well as to those transitioning to a more stable living environment. Our third and final resource is nutritional food. For the past 10 years, Giving Children Hope has been partnering with schools in Orange County to identify and provide for homeless children through our We've Got Your Back program. With over 30,000 children identified as homeless in Orange County, Giving Children Hope has the privilege of distributing over 1,200 backpacks full of food each week through our network of 60 schools in Orange and Los Angeles counties. These backpacks feed between 4,000 to 5,000 people each week. While the amount of people we serve each week continues to grow, so has the nutritious value, as each backpack now also includes fresh produce. Monday through Friday, our warehouse is filled with an array of volunteers, which include everyone from corporate groups to families who give their time to pack these backpacks full of nutritional food. Last year, over 3,000 volunteers came to our facility to pack backpacks. So these are our 3 elements: medical resources, basic needs, and nutritious food. The final aspect of our mission, disaster relief, uses all 3 of these resources. The warehouse at Giving Children Hope is always stocked with items that are needed following a disaster and ready to send when the need arises. One of our most critical relief missions the past few years has been to Syrian refugees. Over the past 3 years, Giving Children Hope has sent 23 40-foot shipping containers to Syrian refugees living in camps in Lebanon and Jordan. These containers have been filled with new clothes, dehydrated food, hygiene products, and medical resources. These items, packed and shipped out of our warehouse right here in Orange County, are sent out to our church and nonprofit partners in the field and distributed to families in crisis. I've had the opportunity to visit these refugees and hear firsthand their harrowing tales of escape from their homeland. I've seen the hope that a winter coat or a jug of cooking oil can bring to these families. As I sat in their makeshift tents on squatted land and drank their coffee and played with their children, I couldn't help but be reminded of the story of another Middle Eastern child, born in humble beginnings, a stable, who also had to flee with his family to escape the wrath of an evil ruler. One family in particular really struck a chord with me. Gaius Eliaha and his wife had just arrived to a makeshift refugee camp in the Bekaa Valley just 3 days before my visit. Like so many other refugees we met during our trip, Gaius had a comfortable life in Syria. As a boy, he and his family lived peacefully in a mixed neighborhood of Muslims and Christians. His family owned a small market that was passed on to him from his father and his father's father before him. He always assumed that one day his son would take over this market. But for years, the stories of approaching evil men had haunted their thoughts and conversations. But it wasn't until 6 months earlier that the violence perpetuated by his extremists began to reach their village. Rumors of threats soon became reality. People began to suddenly disappear, including his own brother. Sounds of gunfire and bombings inched closer and closer, eventually arriving literally at their front door. Faced with the stark reality that staying would likely lead to the death of his family, Gaius made a desperate decision. He packed up his family in the middle of the night, left all he owned behind, and began the long trip by car, bus, and foot to this 12-foot by 10-foot piece of land just across the border from Syria and Lebanon. The mat I was sitting on had been a bed for Gaius' 4 children just hours earlier. I'd tell them about my 3 boys and try to explain their new love for surfing. Surfing's a very interesting thing to explain to people who don't live near the ocean. Gaius' wife tells us stories of their children, ending with one of them being woken the previous night during a thunderstorm. Terrified, the children were certain they were once again being bombed. In this era of hashtag theology and solutions, we understand there are no simple answers to this crisis, but we believe that the love shown by Christians loving their neighbor remains the greatest weapon. I know where I am this morning. I'm here in Newport Beach, trying to decide between bacon or sausage. I wonder where Gaius and his family are today. In addition to our Syrian refugee response, Giving Children Hope has also been busy in Nepal this past year. We delivered 30 mosquito nets, sleeping bags, and solar electrical systems to rural villages that were destroyed by the earthquake. Frequently, these relief projects turn into sustainable projects. This has been the case in the Philippines, where our initial response to Typhoon Haiyan has led to a long-term feeding program of school children in remote villages across the country. This partnership with the Seventh-day Adventist Church has had a profound effect on the health of thousands of children living in the Philippines. So, how can you as Barnabas members join us in this mission? As I shared earlier the value of that Todd's relationship brought to Giving Children Hope, we have come to realize that every good thing that happens at Giving Children Hope happens because of a good relationship. We have a theme verse at our place. It's Galatians 5:13, which gives us instruction to serve one another humbly in love. We believe that to serve refugees in a foreign country well, we need to first love and serve each other well. And then service across the street and around the world will be an outflow of that. We'd love for you to consider organizing a volunteer group to help pack backpacks at our facility in Orange County, or possibly join us at one of our sorting and packing events for Syrian refugees. These volunteer events are a great opportunity to get your spouses and children involved and well. If you're a manufacturer and have extra supplies, whether it be clothes that are outdated or have misprints, these type of items go over very, very well in refugee camps. So we can guarantee these things won't end up in swap meets here in California, but will end up on the backs of refugees who desperately need them. Also, I know there's a vast array of wisdom and knowledge in this room that we would love to tap into. On your feedback form, there are several skill sets that we as a staff would love mentoring in. I've always believed that one of the greatest gifts that our church has to offer is intergenerational relationships. Everything I have learned from parenting to being a boss to being a husband, I've learned from intergenerational relationships in my church. I think this is probably true of this organization as well. As the old guy in an organization of 20 and 30-somethings, your guidance and input would be greatly received and valued. I'd like to end with a story about one of our clients, Ashley Aquino. She's the one in the middle here in the green desk. Looks like a typical Orange County teenager. Last year, her father lost his job, and eventually the family lost their apartment. This is where Giving Children Hope met them. The school notified us about their situation, and we were able to begin providing them food on a weekly basis. After several months of homelessness and nights spent sleeping on friends' floor, Ashley's father eventually got another job, and they were able to get an apartment in Buena Park. What a joy it was for us to be able to provide them with furniture and houseware items for their new home. But the real story here is that Ashley's mother, sitting right next to her, I think, made sure that her circumstances didn't affect her schoolwork. She would walk them to McDonald's in the evening, where they would sit in the well-lit restaurant until they had finished their homework. This past summer, Ashley graduated from Sunny Hills High School and applied to Cal State Fullerton. This fall, Ashley became the first person in her family to attend college. With the help of our donors, we were able to cover all the cost of her first year of college. Giving Children Hope offers a unique opportunity and location where people in Orange County can give their time, treasure, and talents, a place where temporary relief can lead to sustainable hope. We invite you to join us in serving one another humbly in love, both across the street and around the world.
As I said, they're local. They're just over in Buena Park. If you haven't gone over and visited their facility, please do. I know a lot of the folks in here, they have businesses, and I know that you look for things to do at Christmas and Thanksgiving with your staff. This is a great thing to do, not only at that time, but several other times during the year. They need the help, so it's